blood moon is a full lunar eclipse, and 4 of them in a row is called a tetrad. When they've occurred on the Jewish high holy days, it's coincided with major historical events like the Six-Day War in 1967. 4 blood moons on the Jewish high holy days has happened only 3 times in the last 500 years.
Recent discoveries released by NASA, the National Aeronautical Space Association, literally the best scientists in the world predicting the coming 4 blood moons. They are predicting that there will be 4 blood moons that began April 15th, 2014. That there will be a second, October the 8th, 2014. That there will be a solar eclipse in the month of March, the 20th of 2015. A third blood moon in April the 4th, 2015. A fourth blood moon September the 28th, 2015. I want you to read my lips. These are NASA's predictions, not mine.
There have been global disasters, resetting life on Earth as we know it, leaving only remnants of entire civilizations behind. Ancient records of those that have come and gone often speak of signs in the heavens corresponding with their ultimate destruction. Just as the civilizations of old, we've spent decades searching the skies for mathematical patterns between celestial events and global change. But have we been looking in all the wrong places? When astronomers and theologians looked for patterns throughout the ancient biblical calendar with key prophetic dates, everything changed. Now, an unprecedented pattern has been discovered, a warning to all who live upon the face of the earth. For millennia, a rare celestial event known as the blood moon tetrads has coincided with periods of monumental change, affecting the Holy Land and ultimately the world. But when it occurs is almost too shocking to believe. But in an age of globalization in which every conflict sends shockwaves throughout the world, it's what is yet to come that researchers fear the most. According to future projections, only possible today, the next occurrence of this anomaly is right around the corner.
We saw the third lunar eclipse of 4 this year. Skywatchers sure got a treat, though quickly. Around 6:30 this morning, NASA saying it is the shortest eclipse of the century, lasting less than 5 minutes.
What's up for April? A total lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse takes place on the night of a full moon when the moon is on the opposite side of Earth from the sun and the moon passes into Earth's shadow. This can occur only when the sun, Earth, and moon are all aligned. An eclipse begins when the moon first moves into the less dense part of Earth's shadow, what astronomers call the penumbra, then into the deepest shadow, or umbra. The April 4th lunar eclipse covers the Pacific and can be seen from parts of Australia, New Zealand, and Eastern Asia to the western parts of North America. Here are the times for the various stages of the lunar eclipse on the west coast of the United States. On the east coast, the eclipse begins near dawn, and the moon will set before the eclipse has ended. The total eclipse, the brief phase when the entire surface of the moon is obscured, will last about 12 minutes. For those on the west coast, the eclipse will end at 6:45 in the morning.
we're going to be seeing is what we expected. A very, the top part of the moon, even though it's on paper, it's fully into the umbral shadow. In fact, if you were on that part of the moon, you'd be seeing the sun so close to the edge of the Earth that's blocking it, that brilliant light from the atmosphere is managing to come through that part of the eclipsed sun, with the Earth blocking the sun, and light up that part of the moon. Even though it's in shadow, enough light is refracting into that area to produce what, if we didn't know better, we'd say, oh, this isn't totality yet, because look at that difference, that extreme difference between the bottom of the moon and the top of the moon. So if this is not the weirdest totality of the moon that we've ever seen, raise your hand.
Yeah, I mean, our clock says we're experiencing totality right now, and so this is so interesting. Like we see that top portion. Is it completely umbrified, or does that
Yeah, it's umbrified. It's umbrified. I've been watching eclipses, don't want to admit for how many years so far, and I can honestly say I've never seen a totality looking like this. Have you, Will?
No, I mean, I was just looking at that left-hand edge, actually. You see that little tiny spot in the bottom left? That's the crater Grimaldi. And down there, I don't know what you think, but that limb looks as if it's already brightening. It's sort of giving a sense that, this is a very short totality. It almost looks as if the light is starting to encroach on that side of the moon, certainly over literally the last minute that we've been speaking.
That's right. And considering totality lasts somewhere between 5 and 12 minutes, depending upon what reference source you use, it's the shortest totality of our lives. Lunar totality, anyway. We can get moon totalities that are, we can and do get them that are under 2 minutes, but for a lunar eclipse, so I think Will is quite right. The moon's now fully into the umbral shadow, and yet the bottom left-hand side is already preparing itself to leave the umbral shadow, and so it's going to get that pre-leaving brightness. And we're almost at mid-eclipse now. We're very close to mid-eclipse. So this is as dark as the moon is going to get. It's as fully into the umbra as we're going to see. And yet, look at this. The folks at Griffith I can see they're trying different exposures because they probably can't believe this themselves. They're thinking, okay, what kind of exposure is going to be best here? But they've got it. This is it. And you can see a darker orange near the bottom. I'd say yellow, maybe we could call it, near the top. It looks darn just plain white. Looks like, there's no red at all near the top. And so we have, as expected, a very uneven eclipse, and I'd say the oddest, strangest, most unique totality, certainly that I've ever seen, at least since the Pinatubo one, which is what now, at least 30 years away. That was unusual because the moon essentially disappeared. Usually you still see the moon during totality, but because of the volcanic eruption, that was an extremely dark eclipse. But certainly in 30 years or so, this is the strangest eclipse, the strangest total eclipse, and we're looking at it live. Unlike, we've mentioned this before, but an eclipse of the sun happens at different times for different places because the moon's shadow travels along Earth, and so it depends upon where you are, what time it happens. Not so here. The moon goes into Earth's shadow at the same moment for all observers. So as we switch from our feed partners in Australia to, Canada has set now, to Canada, to Los Angeles area, it's the same moment for all observers. So we're seeing this live just as it's happening.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Like, you really put a name to it, where you have the red at the bottom, you have the yellow in the middle there, and the top being like it's like the ice caps up there. And what is this? Is this the rainbow eclipse? I don't, I can't even think of a name for it, because it's not like the blood moon that we're so familiar with expecting, that sort of deep red that covers the whole moon. This is so fantastically unique, and so thank you everybody for watching this.